G'day guys and gal. A couple of you fellow wargamers have commented and said, "Pfft, major kill, more like major lame. Probably doesn't even have miniatures and just reads his lore directly off 1D4chan. Not a real Warhammer fan." And then Voldemort challenged me to do this cute little wargaming challenge Q&A thingo. So I thought it was time to step off and show off the miniatures I have and how embarrassingly terrible I am at gluing and painting overpriced plastic. I also have a really exciting announcement. The Major Kill Mini is now live and available to buy from the Major Kill website, coming in both 40k and fantasy styles. Use them as a Chaos Lord or as a butt plug, I really don't care, but now you can have an angry tryhard mini in your army who thinks he's funny when he really isn't. The 40k model is in true scale because true scale looks better. This means if you want him as a rank and file Chaos Space Marine, then he'll be bigger than the other Marines, so I would run him as a unique unit instead. I couldn't have gotten this done without the help of MedburyMiniatures, who's doing the 3D printing of the models for me, Shaw Muscle, who created the original 3D model of my avatar, Andrew, who converted that model to a printable format and made the 40k model, and also 3D Printing Pro, who created the supports for the model, meaning that they print really cleanly. All the prices on the website are in Australian, so basically it means as cheap as. This video is going to be a bit of a mess and I'm killing like 10 birds with one nuke, so here's how we're going to structure it. I'm going to give an overview of what models I have and where I got them from, then I'll show off some slick ass B-roll of said models with my mate's $5,000 camera. While that B-roll is playing, I'll be answering the I am a wargamer questions. Love me or hate me, you can't say I'm not efficient. After that, I'll be showing off some 3D printed models I have to show you the quality of them, as they will be the same quality as the Major Kill models because they're printed by the same guy, i.e. MedburyMiniatures. Then we'll finish up with me chatting about an upcoming tabletop game that has piqued my interest. You ready? Good. Let's get into it. So this channel started with fantasy lore, and there is a reason for that. I used to have a small Eldar army, and I was actually looking for them today. But it turns out they got donated to some hobos, which is infuriating, and I spent a lot of today yelling. Like, what is a hobo gonna do with a Farseer other than stab someone with it? I mean, that could work, those metal Eldar models were no joke. Before this though, the first models I got my hands on were actually some of the Lord of the Rings models. After I turned those models into abominations, my cousins gave me their old models once they were done with the hobby. I now had an Empire army, an Undead army, a Lizardman army, and a small greenskin force. But I was also like 11 at the time and way too retarded to comprehend playing on the tabletop. I actually remember my mum brought me into one of the Games Workshop stores for a painting tutorial. I was painting my Farseer, which I had already fucked by putting too much paint on already. Well, when I got there they were like, "He's 13, yeah? He needs to be 13 for this." And mum took a look at my 11-year-old self and straight face was like, "Yes, he is 13. So now GW had the pleasure of teaching a 13-year-old boy that was either lying or had a severe learning disability. I had fun though, even though my Farseer looked like shit. Like, I put blood on his fingers. What did he fucking do to get blood on his fingers? Poke some poor cunt's eyes out? Or maybe it's just finger blasting two chicks on their period at the same time. I was a pretty sick 11-year-old. I'm getting sidetracked, but this leads into question 1. What got me into wargaming? I've always been a massive nerd. I loved crystals, action figures, Halo, Lord of the Rings, Knight sculptures, Lego. I was pretty much the most unfuckable 11-year-old out there. Once I was old enough and gained some decent fine motor controls, I got into gaming, with Age of Empires 3 and Warcraft 3 being my go-tos. I loved RTS. I'm actually still playing Age of Empires these days. Not Warcraft 3 though, because of how much they completely butchered the remaster. The Age of Empires 3 remaster is actually looking really fucking sexy at the moment, so I'm really excited for that. Despite all that however, I never actually played the tabletop. I didn't have friends that played it and I was too socially awkward to just put myself out there and into the hobby. So whilst my cousins definitely piqued my interest in Warhammer by giving me their old minis, I think it was inevitable that I would find my way into the hobby one way or another. Second question was, what got me into YouTube? I always wanted to be a YouTuber. I didn't know what for, but the idea of picking a hobby and then inspiring people about that hobby and making fat cash on the side sounded pretty fucking great. I tried to do Warhammer cinematic battles, but my recording software and skills were trash. I then tried to make various videos on various different games, and nothing really stuck. One day I was playing Total War Warhammer, as you do, and I was getting into the characters, and then I was like, wait, what the fuck happened to these guys? I figured that the story might have already ended, and it did. The end times. and whilst the ending of a lot of these characters was pretty grim, at least I now knew what happened, so I made a video on it and the rest is history. Question 3. Where do I see my channel in 5 years? If you want my complete, honest and humble opinion, in 5 years, Major Kill will be a channel with over 1 million subscribers. I will have overtaken every other Warhammer channel bar maybe Luton. I'll have an uneasy alliance with Games Workshop, who won't approve of my methods, but by God they'll approve of the results. I'll see myself having a huge catalogue of custom minis, whilst also funding various Warhammer animation channels. Homebrew Adventures will have hit its 30th episode. If I haven't reached all of these milestones by then I'll do a live stream dressed in a gimp suit. Guaranteed. If I have reached all these milestones by then, I'll do a live stream in a golden gimp suit. I swear on my life, which I value highly. Question 4. Do I have huge dreams of multicast productions with animation and original music? Well, I'm kind of already doing that. Homebrew Adventures is a project with over 10 people working on it. I've had a number of Warhammer related animations commissioned, as well as a significant amount of original art made. Music is something I'd love to work on as well. This will only continue to grow. And finally, the last question. Do I have any advice for a noob on YouTube? Oh, see, I'm probably not the person to ask here because my answer isn't going to be fluffy. I spent over a year uploading content that nobody watched. Dozens of hours wasted. Even once I had my breakout, it would be another 2 years of grinding, stress, and hard work before I was able to quit my job and go YouTube full time. Then it's only been the last couple months where I've actually finally started making really good money. Even now I'm still busting my balls, sometimes staying up till 5 AM to get a video out. I've pulled all-nighters so I'd be able to finish a video and then be up for a 6 AM stream. I love what I do, but it ain't easy. I also live in a state of constant concern that my channel will get randomly deleted due to false copyright strikes, or that jokes I made over 2 years ago will spearhead some kind of cancel campaign against me. My advice would be go in and don't even think about the numbers. Make a video expecting it to get 0 views, and if one day you end up breaking out, then appreciate every single person that watches you, because if you take them for granted, they will leave and you'll be left with a dead channel. There are a lot of channels out there, especially Total War ones, with way more subscribers than me that are completely dead. So that kind of wraps up the wargaming questions, as well as this slick minis B-roll sequence. I guess I now need to nominate some people. Nathan from Great Book of Grudges, because he's a fucking nerd. Venris, because I want to annoy him for smashing me on my last stream. And finally, I don't know, fucking PewDiePie or something. Most of my YouTuber mates have already done the challenge, so it really narrows it down a bit. So in regards to how the Major Kill minis will look, Neckbeardy has sent me a Dark Elf minis pack that he printed and I'm really happy with the quality. It's made of resin, so there is this layered effect on the models, however that gets covered up really easily by some primer or a base coat. I haven't glued or painted anything because A, I suck at it, and B, my city is currently in the strictest and longest lockdown in the entire world, so all the GW stores are closed. Also, buying from the GW website as an Australian is like trying to buy food as an African. Shit is expensive. If you like those models, the Neckbeardy has an entire range of these really awesome custom minis on his eBay that you can mix in with your Warhammer armies or just paint for fun. His skink lizard models also have tits, so there you go, I suppose. I personally love the idea of custom models. There's a website that does a shitload of tower models, and sure, it's copyright violation, but the models are killer and look better than a lot of the GW ones. I think GW should release a public licensing package, where if you make models on their game, you can apply for a basic license which gives GW a small royalty, but means you don't get copyright claimed. Could be a win-win there. If you're getting a bit tired of Warhammer and want to give a new tabletop game a go, then 3D Printing Pro is bringing out Pitfighter: Blood on the Sands. The Kickstarter is launching soon, has been described as a fast-paced miniatures game with amazing jaw-dropping exclusive sculpts. Crush your friends or use the minis for your other games. I'd really recommend following the project and checking out on its launch. Costs you nothing and lets you see if it's something you want to try. And if you aren't interested in playing it, then seeing what models come along with it could be really interesting. So there you have it guys, my shitty models and how I got into the hobby. I may not look like it, but I'm just as much as a neckbeard on the inside as all of you. I'll be hitting a drunk stream on YouTube this Friday as well, so if you want to get down, have a drink and watch me pass out or vomit on my expensive setup, then that's where I'll be. That will be at 12 AM Australian time, 9 AM Eastern Standard Time or 3 PM British Standard Time. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be. Only $1 gives you access to a boatload of Warhammer hentai, and $10 gives you access to the premium Major Kill hentai calendar. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more miniature content. join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.